Browns called out over Shedeur Sanders' stance. Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam delivered some head-turning comments on the team selecting polarizing rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders in the draft this week. Some have theorized that Haslam was the one who made the call to select Sanders, who was projected to be an early first-round pick, in the 5th round, ending his draft slide. Haslam distanced himself from that idea while speaking to the media for the first time since the draft on Thursday. "Listen. We have good process," Haslam said. "If you'd have told me Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would have said, that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning and we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur." Browns called out over quarterback instability. Haslam's comments on Sanders created a stir. Justin Tinsley of Anscape said the problem is less about Sanders, who he acknowledged has parts of his game to work on, and more about the Browns' inability to develop quarterbacks. Here's the uncomfortable truth Haslam didn't address because it's the worst-kept secret in football. The Cleveland Browns, once dubbed a factory of sadness by their own fans, are far more untrustworthy as an organization that can develop quarterbacks than Shedeur Sanders is as a quarterback who needs developing, Tinsley said. The Browns have cycled through 40 different quarterbacks since 1999. They have failed to find anything resembling a franchise quarterback in that bunch. This is where the dog pound stands on the eve of the Browns' 2025 season. Sanders is a quarterback with much to prove, but the Browns are a franchise that has repeatedly proven itself, at best, unlucky and, at worst, systemically incapable of advancing young men at the position, Tinsley said. Browns QB Shedeur Sanders handling challenges well. Sanders is part of the four-man battle for the starting quarterback job. He's a long shot to land it, but has made a good impression on those in the building, including Haslam. "I know everyone has a vision of Shedeur, but he's come in the building, worked hard, kept his head down and done what he's supposed to do," Haslam said. "Sanders has a spotlight on him due to his high profile. But he's handled his situation with grace, saying all the right things. He even shut down his famous father, Deshaun Sanders, from visiting the Browns training camp. He was like, 'Dad, I may get 3-4 reps in practice. I don't want you seeing that. No, I'm not where I want to be. Let me get where I want to be.' He ain't mad. He ain't bitter," Deshaun Sanders said in an interview with Michael Irvin. "He's like, 'I got work to do, but I'm going to put in this work. One thing, they're going to have to let me play. When preseason comes, watch me work.'" Sanders' first taste of preseason action will come on August 8th against the Carolina Panthers. J.R. DeGroot is a staff writer for Heavy.com, where he has covered the NFL, NBA, and trending sports stories since 2019. His work focuses on some of the most passionate fan bases in sports, including reporting on the Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys, and Los Angeles Lakers. More about J.R. DeGroot. In Cleveland, the quarterback saga never truly sleeps. Even in training camp, where optimism should dominate the storylines, the Cleveland Browns are finding themselves in the hot seat, not because of who's starting, but because of who isn't. Shedeur Sanders, the former Colorado standout and son of NFL Hall of Famer Deshaun Sanders, continues to shine in the shadows. Yet, despite his consistent composure, razor-sharp throws, and undeniable leadership, the Browns brass refuses to say the one thing fans, analysts, and even teammates are thinking. That Shedeur deserves a legitimate shot. And now, the silence is becoming deafening. The elephant in the dog pound. After a string of dazzling performances in camp and a string of solid preseason reps, Sanders has become more than just a promising rookie. He's become a legitimate option, or at least, he should be. But while head coach Kevin Stefanski and team owner Jimmy Haslam have praised his development, they've kept their message lukewarm, leaning heavily on, "He's learning, he's got potential," and the infamous, "He's not ready yet." That stance has drawn criticism from local reporters, former players, and national analysts alike. "Open your eyes," said a fiery segment on Cleveland sports radio. "This kid is more polished right now than half the starters we've had in the last 20 years. If his last name wasn't Sanders, maybe he'd already be in the QB2 spot." It's not just about what's being said, it's about what isn't. There's been no indication Shedeur is in true contention for the backup role. No acknowledgement that he's outplaying veterans in certain drills. No public openness to adjusting the depth chart. And in a city that has witnessed more quarterback drama than any fanbase should be forced to endure, the lack of transparency is being met with growing frustration. A tale of two quarterbacks. On one side is Deshaun Watson, the franchise quarterback with a fully guaranteed $230 million contract, still working back from injury, still trying to reclaim his pre-suspension form. His upside is clear, but his performance has been uneven. The Browns are clearly all in on Watson, for better or worse. On the other side is Shedeur Sanders, a rookie, yes, but one with poise beyond his years and a college resume that speaks volumes. At Colorado and Jackson State, he demonstrated elite accuracy, decision-making, and leadership. And most importantly, he's showing those same qualities in a Browns uniform. So why isn't he being considered more seriously? Cleveland's hesitancy feels less like a development strategy and more like fear, wrote one national columnist. Fear of controversy. Fear of disrupting Watson's comeback. But at what point do you prioritize production over politics? What the locker room is saying. It's not just the media calling it out. Quietly, players are beginning to talk. One anonymous source within the organization reportedly told a local beat writer, "He doesn't act like a rookie. He doesn't play like a rookie. Every time he steps on the field, something clicks. But they're scared to give him real momentum." Amari Cooper, when asked about Shedeur, kept it brief but telling, "He's special." The offensive linemen like his tempo. The receivers like his timing. The defense respects how he moves in the pocket under pressure. So what gives? Is it politics? Is it the hefty contract at QB1 locking the coaching staff into silence? Or is it simply Cleveland's old habit of waiting too long to embrace what's right in front of them? The prime effect. Adding fuel to the fire is Shedeur's last name. Being the son of Deshaun Sanders comes with unavoidable attention, but it also comes with doubters. Some believe he's getting the benefit of the doubt. Others believe the opposite, that the Browns are intentionally slow-playing his rise to avoid media frenzy or accusations of favoritism. But here's the truth. Shedeur has earned everything he's done so far. His play has spoken louder than any hype. His leadership has silenced every "he's just a celebrity kid" narrative. And yet, the Browns' stance remains overly cautious, almost stubborn. Even Deshaun himself, when asked about Shedeur's time in Cleveland, replied with a cryptic smile.